All right. Beginning of lesson 2, mod 10. Here's the deal. The first question, the challenge question, if you can see the little guy, he's like questioning this. We want to know, without multiplying, explain why those two factors cannot be the factors of that trinomial given. The whole point of this section is to be able to look at things and tell, can they be factors or can't they, and how to check. So before we start, I'd like you to just multiply these 4 problems that are in your workbook and then click back when you're ready. Okay, this should have been kind of easy for you, I hope, because we're just going to, either you're going to FOIL it, we're just going to distribute. There's no conjugates here, so we're just going to take a look. X times x is x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. Okay? Now we combine our like terms, and we get x squared plus 5x plus 6. That's it. Done. That was nice. All right, let's try this one. X times x is x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. Now again, combine our like terms. We get negative 5x plus 6. Done? This is going quick, isn't it? Number 3. I know you're going, more? Trust me, there's a reason. Number 3. X times x is x squared, negative 3x, positive 2x, because remember, we've done this before, minus 6, which is x squared, combining like terms, minus x, minus 6. Okay? Finally, last but not least, x squared plus 3x minus 2x, right, minus 6, which is x squared plus x minus 6. Okay. That's it. And if there's any questions with that, call your instructor over, but I just want to explain a couple things. These are the products, and these are the factors. So what we now know is that anytime we want the factors of a trinomial, these are trinomials, we're going to get 2 binomials. That's important. Okay, so the factors of trinomials are 2 binomials. The other thing you need to understand is a little bit about those binomials. Take a look at this plus and this plus. Why is that a plus? That's really important. Well, that's a plus because these signs are the same. That's why that's a plus. Okay? Why is this a plus? Well, this is a plus because everything here is a plus, because this is plus 3x, right? Plus 3x plus 2x, plus 3x plus 2x. Everything there is a plus. Why is this a minus? This is a minus because everything here is a minus. So here's what I know. When my last term is plus, that tells me my signs of my factors are the same. If my last term is a plus, that tells me my signs of my factors are the same. What are my signs? I have to look at the middle term. So if it's a plus, I know they're the same. Look at this. That tells me they're both positive. It's a plus. That tells me they're the same. What are they? Look at this. That tells me they're both minus. Okay? Take a look at this. Why are these negatives? Well, these are negatives because these signs are different. So when this last sign is negative, it tells me my signs are different. And then this middle sign is going to depend on a few different things. So here's what I know that I really hope, that I really wanted you to get out of this. Number 1 is, when I factor a trinomial, I'm going to get 2 binomials. Second thing, when my last sign of my trinomial is a plus, it tells me the signs of my signs of binomials are the same. And to know what they are, I look at the middle term. If my binomial, the last term of the if the last term of the trinomial, if the last term of the trinomial is negative, it tells me my signs are different. Okay? That's what I know. I know one other thing I want to show you. I just want you to do this. I want to do this last problem with you. I just want to talk about how these factors differ from those. This is the only factor on the board that has a common factor. These 2 terms share a common factor. Watch what happens when I multiply when I have a binomial who has a common factor. Plus 4x minus 6x minus 12. 2x squared minus 2x minus 12, right? What happened here in your trinomial answer that is different from your trinomial answers here. Your trinomial answers here, your trinomials here, have nothing in common, no GCF. That's because your factors had no GCF. Okay? There's no GCF in these two terms. There's no GCF in these two terms. Right? Same thing here. So, but here, there's a GCF of 2 here. So guess what? There's a GCF of 2 here. So if your factors have a GCF, one of them, your product is also going to have a GCF. Now, that's important only because that's going to help us factor later. So let's take a look to see how you absolutely factor. So let's go to this first question. All right, let's take a look at this and let's factor it from start to finish. The first step, step 1, just like before, look for a GCF in all your terms. Well, this one's going to knock that out, which means I can't do step 2, I can't do step 3. Step 4, count your terms. 1, 2, 3. Oh, good, a new amount. 3 terms, we have to go to step 4b. Step 4b says if 3 terms make 2 sets of parentheses. So I'm going to make 2 sets of parentheses. We already know our factors are going to be binomials. Now, here's what we have to do. Check our signs. If the sign of the last term is positive, it tells me they're the same. We want to know what they are. We look at the middle. So we know these are both positives. Now, here's how this works. Now, to get what goes in here, we factor the first term. 3x squared could be 3x and x. That's it because it's prime. Then we factor the last term, 1. 1 times 1 are the only options for 1. We list all our options. Those are the only options for 1. We do not factor the 4. Do not factor the 4. Do not factor that middle term. Okay? So here we go. So we factor the first term, we factor the last term. Now here's what we try to do. We plug in our factors. From the first term, they go in the first part of the box. For the last term, they go in the last part of the box. Now this is how you see if you are correct. You check for your middle term. You pray and check. You don't try to get it, you pray and check. Okay? Now if you remember FOIL, the OI is what gets you your middle term. So we're going to OI. We're going to check by OIing. You could multiply this all out, but we already know we have the 3x squared because we did it. We already know we have the 1 because we did it. You could FOIL this right now or distribute, but I'm just going to check the middle term. Here it is. This is a positive 1x, right? That's the inner. Here comes the outer. A positive 3x. Combine them, that gives us a positive 4x. Is that what you want? It is what you want. Those are our factors. So our factors are 3x plus 1 times the quantity 3x plus 1 times the quantity x plus 1. You are done. How do I know I'm done? Because I'm attached by multiplication. I have 2 factors, this whole thing and this whole thing. I look inside the parentheses. I have no GCF, and I don't know any other way to factor 2 terms. Same thing here. I am done. You want to check? You can distribute it all out, but you don't have to. That's all you do. That's it. That's it. So let's try a couple more problems. All right, here we go. I actually did miss a step. I'm going to go over it again, but don't worry, it's the same thing. Step 1, GCF in all your terms? No. Step 2 can't do. Step 3 can't do. Step 4, count your terms. There are 3. Okay, now, I believe on that sheet of notes you have, it says, in your workbook, it says, make sure that you have standard form. This is standard form. X squared, x to the first, no x at all. Also, it's easier to factor if your leading term is positive. We have all of that. So you're done with all of that. We have no GCF, so now we just make 2 sets of parentheses. But you have to go through all of that, okay? All right. We look at our last sign. It's negative. That just tells me my signs are different. What are they? Doesn't matter. Plus, minus, minus, plus. Factoring is why God made erasers. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now, we're going to factor the first term, factor the last term, and pray for the middle. That's the goal. Okay. I'm going to write down all the factors of 4x squared. We got 2x and 2x and 4x and 1x. For 2, we got 2 and 1. Well, this is the only choice here, so I'm going to put them in. 2 and 1. Don't worry about where they go. If you worry about it, you waste time. Don't worry. Now, here's the little trick. I can't use 2 and 2. Because if I use 2 and 2, that means this will have a common factor. Well, if this has a common factor, that means this had a common factor. And this does not have a common factor, so the 2's won't work. Out. Done. Don't even try. Go ahead, try if you want, but it's a waste of time. It ain't working. Okay, now let's try 4x and x. The problem is almost the same. I can't put the 4x here. If I put the 4x there, it will have a common factor. So if I'm going to use 4x and x, the x is going to have to go here. The 4x is going to have to go here. We don't talk about 1 as being a GCF. Now we have to check for our middle term. Here we go. Positive 8x, negative 1x, and there's your positive 7x, which is your middle term. You are done. Now I have to tell you, if this came out to a negative 7x, the number would be this right, but the sign would be wrong. Do not move the numbers, just change the signs. You would have made that one positive and that one negative, but we don't have to do that because we are done. So our answer to this problem is x plus 2 times the quantity 4x minus 1. That's the answer to that problem. Done. You are done. Very cool. Okay? You ready? Number 2. If you have any questions about that, watch the video again, rewind the video, or ask your instructor. But that's a great problem. All right, so let's take a look at this number 2 now. Number 2, we look for a GCF. We look for standard form first. I'm sorry. And we have to talk about standard form for 2 variables. This is standard form for 2 variables because we start with this a squared and we have to have another a before we start our b's. So we'll talk more about that later, but this is considered standard form. Because we have an a squared, finish off the a's before you start your b's. Now, we also want to have the leading term positive, and it is, so we're good to go. So here we go. All right, we're going to make 2 sets of parentheses. All right, our last term is negative. It tells us our signs are different. We just know they're plus, minus, minus, plus. Doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. Does not matter. I did not put the plus here first because it was there first and the minus here first because the minus. It does not matter. Just trying to say it does not matter. Now, I want to factor the 6a squared. So 6a squared is 3a and 2a, or 6a and a. 15b squared is 5b and 3b, or 15b and 1b. So I have to tell you a little secret. It doesn't work all the time, but it works a lot. Take the ones with the closest that are closest. So 3 and 2 are closer than 6 and 1. Okay, that's 6 and 1a. So I'm going to try 3a and 2a. Oops. And 2a. I'm going to take that smudge off the board. Okay. All right, and here, 5 and 3 are closest. So I'm going to try 5b and 3b. But if I try 3b, I can't put it with the 3. There'll be a common factor. So I'm going to put the 5b here and the 3b here. Okay? So here we go. This is negative 10ab. This is positive 9ab, which is negative ab, which is exactly what we want. So we are done. We are done there. Okay? 3a, so it's the product of the quantity of 3a minus 5b times the quantity of 2a plus 3b, and it's a done deal. Because 3 and 2 give you the 6, 5b and 3b give you the 15b squared, and we get our middle term. So it's a done deal. Okay, so final answer. All right, let's look at the last one on the board anyway. We have another one down there, which I'll probably have to move. Okay, we need standard form. Now I have to tell you, the degree of this is 2, 2, 2. We have to put one of these first, okay, one variable first. It actually doesn't matter which one, okay. I'm going to put the x first just because it's alphabetical. I'll be honest, if one of these were negative, I'd put the positive one first so the leading term would be positive. So I'm going to put this one there. It's alphabetical. Finish off the x's before you start your y's. So that's how that would look. That's standard form. We want the leading term positive, and it is. There's no GCF, so we make, but there are 3 terms, so we have to make 2 sets of parentheses. This last term is positive. It tells me they're the same as the middle, so it's both plus. Only when this is a plus do we look at the middle term. Only when that happens. If the last term is negative, it doesn't matter how you write them. We just check the middle term and fix it if we need to. We've gotten really lucky. We haven't had to fix it yet, okay? But sometimes we do. So 9x squared is 3x and 3x, or 9x and 1x. 3x and 3x, or 9x and 1x. 25y squared is 5y and 5y, or 25y and 1y. Notice I am not factoring the middle term. So guess which ones I would try? Yes, these are closest. 3x and 3x. And here I would try 5y and 5y. Positive 15xy. Positive 15xy is that positive 30xy. So I have my middle term. So, oh, I lost my x, didn't I, here? Hello. But I knew it was there. 30xy, there it is. Positive 30xy is my middle term, so I am done. Now, just to give me some space here, I'm just going to tell you this. We can leave this answer just like this, but if you were checking this, probably even in my math lab, I believe the answer they probably want is this. 3x plus 5y quantity squared. It would look like that because I have that twice. When this happens, when you have two of the same factors, your trinomial, and I don't know that I care right now, but your trinomial is called a perfect square trinomial because we can write it as a square. Okay? One more on this slide and in your workbook. Let's take a look at this one. I'm going to erase these two so that I can have more room for that. Okay, let's take a look at this one. First thing we want to do is look for a GCF. There is no GCF, so we can't do step 2, we can't do step 3. Step 4, count your terms, there are 3. So we make sure they're in standard form, and they are, but we want our leading term negative, and it's not. Okay, since there's no GCF, and we don't want this here, I want to factor out a negative 1. All that will do is change the signs. So I'm going to divide everything through by a negative 1. If they had something in common like a 2, I would take out negative 2. Okay? But I have here 10x squared minus 51x plus 27. Okay? Now, I look inside here. I still have a trinomial. I'm going to try to factor that. So let's see what we have in here. Okay. We're going to do 2 binomials because it's 3 terms. Bring down that negative 1. This last sign tells me they're the same as the middle, so they're both negative. Okay? Now I have to factor 10x squared and 27. So 10x squared is 5x and 2x, or 10x and 1x. 27 is 9 and 3, or 27 and 1, and I believe that's it. So you ready to try? I'm going to try 5x and 2x. Why? Because it's the closest one. Am I sure it's going to work? Not really. Okay. Who cares? You're not going to be sure it's going to work either. So we have 5x and 2x. Now I'm going to try 9 and 3 because they're closer. So I'm going to try 9 and 3. Let's check this out. You ready? This is negative 18. And this is, and by the way, this is what we're supposed to be trying to get, negative 51x. Okay? And this is negative 15. Okay? So that's clearly not big enough. I don't even have to add that. So I know I'm not going to work that way. So I'm going to try again. Ready? It's okay. It's okay. It really is okay. I'm going to keep the first ones the way they are, 2x. And now all I'm going to do is flip-flop these. So I'm going to write 3, and I'm going to write 9. And let's see what happens now. Those are different factors. You don't always get it on the first shot. That's negative 6x, negative 45, but sometimes you get it on the second shot. So there's negative 51x. So my factors are negative 1 times the quantity 5x minus 3 times the quantity 2x minus 9, and it is a done deal. That's it. So that's number 4. All right, let's take a look at these examples. So step 1 again, look for a GCF. Nope. Step 2, can't do. Step 3, can't do. Are you getting sick of it? Step 4, count your terms. There are 3. Look for standard form. You got it. All right, leading term positive, we got it. So here we go. Make 2 sets of parentheses. That plus tells me they're the same as the middle, so they're both minus. This is 5x and x. That's it. 4 and 1, or 2 and 2. Are you ready? So we're going to try 5x and x. I'm going to try 2 and 2 because they're the closest. I'm going to check my middle term now. You ready? Here I go. I'm going to check my middle term. Negative 2x, negative 10x. That's negative 12x. That is a no-go. Okay, so it wouldn't make sense for me to just move these over. They're the same. So here's what I'm going to do. Cross this out. I'm going to erase that so I have more space. I already know it doesn't work. It's junk. I'm going to keep 5x. I'm going to keep x, but instead of 2 and 2, I'm going to try 4 and 1. So I'm going to try the 4 here and the 1 here. Okay? And we get negative 4x, and we get negative 1x, which is negative 5x. That is not working. Okay, now, is there anything else I can check? If I move it to, I can't, there's nothing I can move for these, 5x and x. That's all I got. I move them around. Oh, I could try 1 and 4 maybe. Let me try 1 and 4. There's one more thing I can check. 5x minus 1, x minus 4, let's try that. That's negative 1x, negative 20x. Oh, come on. It's not working. You know why? This is prime. It cannot be factored. I personally think the prime ones are the hardest ones because you can sit there forever. Okay? This is prime. Okay? So remember, when it can't be factored, it is prime. So that one is prime. Trying to show you everything that could possibly happen to you. Okay, so that's the end of number 1. Let's go to number 2. And by the way, do you ever notice I always start at 1 again? Because if I started where we are, you might think we're doing 2,000 problems in a day, and then you'll get tired. But we still keep starting at 1. This is 1. Here comes 2. Here we go. Okay, number 2. Number 2 says 96a plus 16a squared minus 2a cubed. All right, look for a GCF. There actually is a GCF. But before I would get a GCF for this, I have to tell you, I have a rash. Do you know why I have a rash? I have a rash because this is not in standard form. So I'm going to put it in standard form. Plus 16a squared plus 96a. And I'm going to tell you why I want this in standard form. Because now I notice my leading term is negative. So when I take out a GCF, the negative comes with me. Negative 2a is my GCF. Negative 2a, negative 2a, negative 2a. Okay, so we reduce. We get a squared minus 8a minus 2 into 96 goes 48 times. Okay, ready? Now listen, 2 lessons ago you would have been done. But now we know how to factor 3 terms, and sometimes they're factorable, so we have to try because you have 3 terms. So you have to ask yourself all those questions again. Okay? So now the last term is negative, tells me my signs are different. A squared is just a and a. 48 is 8 and 6, 48 and 1, 24 and 2. There's probably more. 12 and 4. There's a whole mess of them. I'm going to try 8 and 6, 12 and 4. 8 and 6 are closest, but I have to tell you they don't work. I'm going to try 12 and 4. I'm going to try the 12 here and the 4 here. I'm going to check my middle term. This is positive 12a. I just happen to know the answer for this one. Negative 4a, which is a positive 8a. Is that right? No, because we want a negative 8a. The number's right, but the sign is wrong. So all I do is keep the numbers, but change the signs. So this is a minus, this is a plus, and now you'll have it. So those are my 4 factors. Okay, we're trying to factor that. They have to be different because that's different. So because that's negative. Negative 2a times the quantity a minus 12 times the quantity a plus 4. You are done. That's it. Okay, I'm going to get all this off so I can do number 3. Number 3 is a good one. Okay, 3 halves x squared minus 11 halves x plus 5. I've been trying to think of the best way to handle how to explain this to you. Okay, this is a little annoying. I cannot clear the fractions, okay, because it's not an expression, it's not an equation or an inequality. So I cannot clear the expression. I cannot factor out. Well, actually, you know what? You know what? I'm just thinking. If I take out that, no, that's not going to work. I cannot take out a GCF because there's not a fraction here in common. So I can't do that. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to try to factor this. Now, there's a couple of different things. You might want to try to get this to have the same denominator this does. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 3 halves x squared minus 11 halves x plus, if I want the same denominator, I need it to be a 2, so I get 10 halves. That might be slightly helpful. You've got to be careful here, and I'm going to show you why. Because the first thing I thought of was, oh, I could factor this by going 1/2 times 3 halves. But that doesn't work, because 1/2 times 3 halves is 3/4. But what I could do is I could factor this by going 1/2 times 3, or 3 halves times 1, x. I know, this is annoying. I didn't say this would be easy. Okay. Now, we have to factor 10 over 2. You want to know the truth? I don't think that it really is easier. Let's keep that 5. Sorry, guys. Don't worry about it. 5. 5 is just 5 and 1. Now we're going to attempt to do this. Okay, here we go. What do I know about my signs? I know they're the same, and I know they're both negative. So they're both negative. Okay, I'm going to try 1/2 x and 3 x. That'll give me 3 halves x squared. Now I got to try 5 and 1. That's the only possibility. So I'm going to try the 1 here and the 5 here. Could I have tried the 5 here and the 1 here? Yes, I could have. And here we go. Negative 3x, negative 5 halves x, because this is 5 over 1. 5 halves x. Now watch what I have here. I have negative 3 and negative 5 halves. To combine them, I need a common denominator. So this is 2, negative 6 halves, negative 5 halves. There's my negative 11 halves. That was ugly, but it worked. So my final answer is 1/2 x minus 1 times the quantity 3x minus 5. I don't like them either. Okay. That's it. That takes care of that. Okay, the last one on this slide is x cubed y squared plus 3x squared minus 18x. This is standard form because this is degree of 5. This is 2. This is 1, so it's going down. Okay, first step, GCF. There is a GCF. It is x. We factor out an x. We make a big set of parentheses. We divide by x. And we get x squared y squared plus 3x minus 18. Don't run away like you're done. Now, this is 3 terms. We can try to factor this. But here's what I'm thinking. How are we going to factor something with a y in it and not get a y in my middle term? Catch what I mean. If I go xy, xy, that would be x squared y squared. And even if I put a 6 here and a 3 here, everything I have is going to have a y in it. Even if I put xy squared here and just an x, something's got to have a y in my middle term somewhere. So I'm done right here. Is this prime? No. These are the factors. This is a factor. This is your second factor. It's not prime. You did factor it, but you could only take out a GCF. So my answer is x times the quantity x squared y squared plus 3x minus 18. 2 factors. I am done. I wish they were all like that, huh? All right. So let's take a look again at the challenge problem, because the challenge problem said, why can't 3x minus 6, 3x minus 6, and 2x minus 1, why can't they be the factors of this? Do you think you know why? Okay, here's the deal. Check out the common factor situation. This has a common factor, but this does not. If this has a common factor, this must. So that's why it can't be the factors, because if the factors of this cannot have common factors. So that's why it can't. So now there are 8 more problems left on this page, on this, in this workbook space for this lesson. I need you to try to do the first 4. All right, it just looks like I gave you the hard one. Stop your whining. Here we go. 15x squared minus 17x plus 4. That is standard form. There's no GCF. Count my terms. There are 3. I make 2 sets of parentheses. Let's talk about the sign. The last sign is positive. It tells me my factors are the same as the middle, so they're both minus. Now I want to factor 15x squared. I want to factor the 4, and I want to pray for that middle term. Okay, so here we go. For 15x squared, we have 3x and 5x or 15x and 1x. For 4, we have 2 and 2 and 4 and 1. Okay, so guess what I'm trying? Yep, 3x and 5x. And now I'll try the 2 and the 2. What the heck? 2 and the 2. This is minus 10x, minus 6x. Oh, of course I'm not right. Why would I be? Okay, so here's the deal. You know you can't change around the 2 and the 2, so here's what I'm going to do. Don't change every pair. I'm going to keep the pairs 3x and 5x, and then try the 4 and the 1. Right, both minus still. I'm going to try the 4 and the 1. So I'm going to try the 1 here and the 4 here. And let's pray. Here we go. You're praying. This is minus 5x. This is minus 12x. And you got minus, oh yes, minus 17x. So there it is. My factors are the quantity 3x minus 1 times the quantity 5x minus 4. We are done with that problem. This is just the check. This part right here is not part of your answer. This is your answer. This times this gets me back here. Remember how to check. Just multiply back. Okay? What do you think? I'm liking this. Okay, we definitely have a 2 in common. Do we have an A? Yes, we have an A. Do we have a B? No B, because there's no B there. So we have a 2A in common. We divide by 2A. Listen, anytime we make a GCF, that's when we make one big set of parentheses. That's when, anytime we pull out a GCF, one big set of parentheses. Okay? 2A, it's the only time when we're factoring we have one set of parentheses. We have 8A squared plus 23AB minus 6B squared. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, here we go. That looks, oh, just so beautiful. That's the minus, so the signs are different. Here we go. Factor 8a squared, factor 6b squared. Pray for the middle. Don't worry about the negative. We already got it. We got 4a and 2a, or 8a and 1a. We got 3b and 2b, or 6b and 1b. Guess what I'm trying? Guess what I'm trying? Okay, guess. No. All right, I'm trying 4a. Oh, I can't try 4a and 2a. You know why? I'll show you. I'll share that with you. Because if I try 4a and 2a, I can't use 3b and 2b, because no matter where I put the 2, there's going to be a common factor. And I can't use the 6b either, because there'll be a common factor. So 4a and 2a is out. See, that kind of helps, right? Okay, so that's out. I'll try the 8a and the 1a, or the a, and now I'll try 3 and 2. Can't put the 2 here, put the 3 here. Okay, here we go. Plus 3ab minus 16ab. Well, that's not going to work. That's going to be a negative 13. That's not working. So, no good there. And I cannot move them around because I can't put the 2 with the that. Did I try? Okay, so I can't move them around. So that's gone. Okay, so now I'm going to try six B and 1B. I can't put the 6 here. I got to put the 6 here. Let's try B here. Oh, this is positive AB. And this is negative 48. Nope, AB. That's not going to work, so I'm done. I am done right here. I wish I had known I was done. I am done right there. I am done. Done deal. Those are the factors, okay? Because this is prime. This is not prime because these are the factors of that. But this trinomial inside is prime, so I am done right there. This is my answer. So that's 1 and 2. Wow. That might have took you a while because you'd be going and going trying to find an answer there. Okay, let's try 3 and 4. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Standard form. This is not standard form because I can have 6x squared first, but then I got to finish off my x's. So that's got to go next, and then this. Okay? So now, I look for GCF. There is not one. I make two sets of parentheses. Remember to be following those steps on that sheet, okay, in your workbook. Here we go. Last term is negative. It tells me my signs are different. Okay, 6x squared. Here we go again. I'm really loving that 6. 6x squared is 3x and 2x, or 6x and x. Y squared is y and y. The more you learn, the more you don't know. That's truth. All right, word. That's word. Okay, 3x and 2x, y and y. Are you ready? I'm feeling good. Positive 2xy, negative 3xy. Oh, I'm feeling so good. Minus 1xy. That is it. That is your answer. Couldn't they all be like that? I am done. Awesome. Okay, number 4. Looking for standard form? I got it. Look for a GCF? I don't got one. Count your terms. There are 3. However, I don't like that. Rash! Why? Leading term negative. Don't like it. So even though I don't have a GCF, I'm going to pull out a negative 1. I'm going to divide by negative 1. Make that leading term positive. 4x squared plus 5x minus 6. All right? Oh, a 6 again! Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Now this is what we're factoring. So pull down your negative 1. Make 2 sets of parentheses. That last sign is negative. Tells me my signs are different. 4x squared is 2x and 2x, or 3x. 3x? I'm factoring the 6. Sorry. 4x and x. 6 is 3 and 2, or 6 and 1. So I can't try the 2 and the 2 because then they'd be a common factor. So I'm going to try the 4x and the x. And now I'm going to go 3 and 2. Can't put the 2 here. Put the 3 here. Put the 2 here. Now we'll try plus 3x. Remember what we're trying to get, positive 5x. Plus 3x minus 8x. That gives me a negative 5x. We're not trying to get this. We're trying to get this. So my sign is wrong, but my number's right. So I'm done with all the hard stuff. So all I'm going to do is subtract, is change the signs here. And that's my final answer. I'm going to erase this. Here we go. And I have 3 factors. Negative 1 times the quantity 4x minus 3 times the quantity x plus 2. I am done. There's 4 left. 4 left. We can do it. All right, here we go. Standard form. Negative 3x squared plus 6x plus 24. So important because we got to know who's in the first spot, who's in the second spot, who's in the third spot. Okay, here we go. GCF, yes, there's a 3. GCF is 3, but we're going to take out a negative 3 because our leading term is negative, and that gives me, yes, a rash. Okay, so divide by negative 3. 1 set of parentheses for a GCF. 1 set of parentheses for a GCF. I repeat, 1 set of parentheses for a GCF. And we get x squared minus 2x minus 8. Where do the minuses come from? A positive divided by a negative. A positive divided by a negative. Okay, now, we're going to try to factor this because we have to try. Okay, here we go. 2 sets of parentheses. Our last sign is negative. It makes them different. X squared is just x and x. 8 could be 4 and 2, or 8 and 1. Let's try 4 and 2. Put the 2 here. I'm going to put the 4 here and see what happens. Ready? We're trying to get a negative 2x, remember. That's our goal. Here we go. Positive 2x. Negative 4x. Is a, oh, how sweet it is. There it is. Because this times this will get you here, times this will get you here. So we got it. So it's negative 3, 3 factors. Negative 3 times the quantity, x plus 2, times the quantity, x minus 4, and that is a done deal. Awesome. All right? That was easy, right? Let's try this one. Here we go. Standard form, we have it. Leading term positive, we have it. No GCF. So we're going to try. Last sign is negative. Signs are different. X squared can only be x and x. The only possibility here is 2 and 1. That's it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's the only possibility. Positive 2x, negative 1x is a positive x. It does not work. This is, say it with me, prime. This is prime. Prime. Because that was my only choice, 2 times 1, x times x. That's it. Because both those numbers happen to be prime. Didn't give me that middle term. Okay, let's take, when I say this number, I mean this coefficient. We got to do 3 and 4, and then we're done with this slide. All right, my favorite one, the fraction. You cannot clear it. Is an expression, not an equation or inequality. Like how my eyebrows did that? Did they do that? I don't even know. I have this eye here problem. I just want to tell you this. As I get tired and as we do more and more of this, you'll notice this, because it happens in my night classes, that I have this eye situation where I have this lazy eye, and my eye decides to go this way. Okay, so here's how it'll work. It's like I'll be looking at you, but the person over there will think I'm looking at them, but I'm looking at you. So the rule is follow the head, not the eye. That's the rule. Okay, here we go. All right, so we look for standard form. This is standard form, x squared, x, and no x's. All right, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Okay, this tells me they're the same. Same as what? Same as positive. Okay, 2/3. Again, that's a little hard. I'm going to just try it because I don't know what to try. Here's the beauty of math. Sometimes mathematicians have no clue, and we just try things and hope they work, okay? Because all this factoring has been trial and error. We've learned some stuff, but a lot of it's been trial and error. So I'm going to try 2/3, because I don't know what to try right now, times x, okay? 2/3 x times x. That will definitely get me 2/3 x squared, won't it? Then I'm going to have to factor the 12. For the 12, I can do 4 and 3, 6 and 2, 12 and 1. Guess what? I'm going to do 4 and 3. So I'm going to try the 3 here. I'm going to try the 4 here. Why did I do that? I have no idea. Just so we know, we have that straight. Okay, now I'm going to check my middle term. This is 3x and a positive 4 times 2/3. 4 times 2/3 is 8/3 x. Now I have to add these. Now you're going, good for you, have a good time. Okay, I'm going to add these. I need a common denominator. Okay, follow me here. Which way my eyes going? It doesn't matter. Follow me here. Okay, 3/1 plus 8/3. Okay, I need a common denominator of 3. That's 9/3 plus, right? 9/3 plus 8/3, and that gives me 17/3. Did I look like really worried there for a second? Because I felt really worried because I thought that was 11, but it is a 17. Good thing because I need a 17. And this is 17/3 x, and it's a winner. Okay, so those are my factors. How did I get them? I don't know, to be quite honest. I just tried something. Okay, so that's it. Done there. Ready for the next one? All right. I'm also slightly dyslexic, but I'm only pictorially dyslexic. Do you know what that means for you? That means that I have a problem with symbols. Pretty cool that I'm a math teacher. I have a problem with symbols. But the other thing is, if you want to invite me to a party, but just to be nice, you really don't want me to come, draw a map. I won't get there. Okay, here we go. So, GCF. Yes, we have a GCF. The GCF is A. All of this. Out of all of this, the GCF is A. Are you kidding me? Okay. The GCF is A. Make one set of parentheses. Divide by A, and we get A squared B minus 14AB plus 40. Okay, now, this is going to be extremely interesting because there's a B here and a B there. This could possibly be done. I'm going to try this. Here we go. Try with me. This is a plus, means the sides are the same as the middle term. Remember, this is the sign of the first term, plus, sign of the middle, sign of the last term. So they're both minus. A squared B. What am I going to do with A squared B? Truth be told, I have no clue. So I'm going to try AB times A. It's A squared B. Now for 40, I can try 10 times 4, 40 times 1, 20 times 2. 5 times 8, I can just have a party. 5 times 8, I can't think of anything else. 7 times, 40. I think that's it. Okay, let's see what happens here. Let's just try. This is negative 5a and negative 8ab. Here's what's going to happen here. Because this has a squared b and there's a b here, and there's nothing going on here, no b, you're never going to get that middle term because you're going to have things that will not match here. So I am done right here. And the more you do, the more you'll see that that was going to be absolutely impossible. But until you saw it, you probably wouldn't have noticed that. So I am done right there with that problem. So the answer is a times the quantity is not prime. This trinomial is prime. But this trinomial is not prime. This trinomial has factors a squared, a times the quantity a squared b minus 14ab plus 40. All done. All done. The more you do, the better you'll get. Okay? Okay. Listen, one left. Can you believe it? We're just doing this problem so we can extend what we know. All right, here we go. When I see this problem, I really think of this. When you see this problem, you go, no! But when I see this problem, I really see this. This is all I really see. This, to me, is the same problem. Okay? And here I would just break this up as x times x. Well, here, the signs are the same as the middle. I'm going to break this up as x to the n, x to the n. Watch, that makes sense. Because when I multiply, I keep the base, add the exponents. 1n plus 1n is 2n. Good. Okay, now 48. 6 and 8, 12 and 4, 48 and 1. I'm sure there's more, but at this point, I don't really care. So I'm going to try 6 and 8. Here we go. And minus 6x to the n. Minus 8. I see a winner. Winner, winner, winner. This is negative 14x to the n. I am done. So that is my answer. My answer is, don't let problems scare you. Pick a problem that it looks like, and then see if you can handle it. X to the n minus 8. So the quantity x to the n minus 6 times the quantity x to the n minus 8. Awesome! These are really not that hard. Some of them are harder than others, but as you get used to doing these, they really will come easily for you. That is the end, finally, the end of Lesson 2.